Carmel, I want to
Yes,
thank
sir.
you and welcome you to the best show on earth. I mean, one day.
Yeah.
Mancave Classified, something we started 27 episodes ago. We're going to call this a space odyssey because it is an odyssey. And it's a good analogy to the original movie. And we got a lot of questions.
Lots of questions.
Lots of questions about this touchdown or supposed touchdown, what looks like a completely AI-driven model. It's horrible. It's horrible. I mean, it's like they're pulling the wool. I mean, first and foremost, just let's get it out on the table. The word NASA means to deceive in the language of Hebrew. First and foremost. Secondly, on HISAdvocates.org, I published a video in the Living in the Private Group area showing that NASA is continually and constantly committing fraud with these presentations that they're making about floating around. And there's all kinds of people exposing the wires, exposing the technology they're using with, lenses that are allowing them to see the fake images that are being displayed in front of them, all kinds of stuff. So it goes all the way back to, did we ever go to the moon?
Yep.
But let's talk about this right now. How you doing, my friend? I haven't seen you in a week, and it's nice to have you. I'm tripping out on this. It's blowing my mind.
No, it's one of those things when you're deep into this stuff, and like going back to even looking at the moon landing and all that other stuff, but then you see it in real time. And when this first news flash happened, it just brought back all these things we've been noticing that have been wrong with other space exploration videos. And I'm like, so to our eye, we see it right away. And I'm just like, are we serious? Like, whether it's the AI generation of video or like just the capsule just showing up midway before it gets to the water, nothing in between. Never saw it actually come from the ISS space station. And you see these people, the next thing you see it in there's all these cutscenes. This looks no different than Interstellar, Gravity, any movie you've ever watched about space. But we take it as real life because the news shows it. And I'm just like, we got to talk about this. We have to talk about this.
Yeah, and it goes to the conversations, what do you believe anymore? Because if they're able to do this kind of technology, just giving a command to AI, and they've got some of the best and biggest studios in the world. You've got, and this goes all the way back to the fraud of whether or not we went on the moon. And Buzz Aldrin is running around, and it could be that maybe he's having a bad day. Maybe he's got ALS. Maybe he's got Parkinson's, something that's helping him forget the fact that he took a step on the moon. But, then you have these audios and videos of the real creator. I'm blanking on his name right now. He created the movie Eyes Wide Shut and died during that movie. Stanley Kubrick, yeah. Interesting, his death was on Eyes Wide Shut. No conspiracy there, but Stanley is on his deathbed outing the fact that he was hired to do the moon landings. And then you talk to the average bear, and they want to make it just like the movie that just came out, where they created an artificial stage, with Channing Tatum and,
Yep.
and showing another alternative. And I actually had a guy I was talking to, and we were talking about the moon landings, and he said, oh, this is this. And I'm like, where'd you get that? Did you get that from Channing Tatum's new movie? And he's like, oh, you've seen it. I'm like, oh, so that's where you got it. So that's your basis of the story you're trying to create here. He's like, no. That's what I heard a long time ago. I'm like, you're so full of it. But the bottom line is, like, obviously there was the intent. If that were true, and that did happen at NASA, obviously there was an intent to do a cover-up in the event that we never made it to the moon. So they're for sure telling you that they had intent to do it, but they didn't do it.
Yeah.
And then you get to the moon, and somehow the cameras are set up because small step for man, one giant leap for mankind, first step onto the moon. Well, like most Instagrammers these days, he got off, he walked over there, set the camera up, then he walked back and he did what we do on the sand. You know, we get rid of the footprints and we climb back up the ladder.
Mm-hmm.
All this on the moon. First experiences on the moon. First experiences of weightlessness. First experiences of truly walking around in a new environment. And then does the speech.
Right.
But now you've got Buzz Aldrin, guy on that same aircraft, saying we never went. And you got a lot of people saying we can't even get out into space. And this is the biggest conspiracy of all. Think about that for a sec, that we do live in a dome, or that there is a firmament and it's water. And then you look at the rockets that are going up into this firmament, and it looks like they're hitting water.
Right. Right.
You know, and that blows my mind. It's like, okay, if there's water up there, then is there no gravity? How is the water formed? How does it stay? I got a lot of questions for God, you know. But I'm at this point where it's just beyond understanding of what is real or what isn't, especially after watching this freaking completely ridiculous AI video with no definition of the water. It's all blurry water. It's, you know, whatever.
Like the movies that we've seen, right? Going back to Capricorn 1, I always tell everyone, go watch the movie. I think it's a 1970s, 80s movie. I think Josh Brolin's in it. O.J. Simpson's in it. But it's very telling to what happened just a few years before that, because the moon landing was 69, 68, something like that.
Mhm.
So this movie, Capricorn 1, was done not too long ago. After that, I'm sorry, not too much further after that. This new movie, Flying to the Moon, with Channing Tatum, again, what are they trying to tell us? The TV show Paradise, I keep telling people to watch. What are they trying to tell us? This thing right here we just saw the other day, which has so many holes in it again, so many holes. It's just like, people, come on, like, we got to be smarter than this.
Well, let's watch this, because again, what are they trying to tell us with this video? Here we go.
Fantastic news from out of this world. NASA is expecting the two stranded American astronauts to return home Tuesday night, and that's a day earlier than expected. A SpaceX capsule successfully docked at the International Space Station last night, bringing their relief crew, who were welcomed at the ISS.
Now look at her. Let's back this up just a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Right to there. What do you see there, Carmel?
A lot of white.
A lot of white.
A little dusty right there.
She's got a lot of gray going on.
Mm-hmm.
This guy's a total fraudster. Dude, she couldn't hold on. She couldn't afford a bungee. She couldn't afford a bungee, dude.
No.
Really?
No.
You're gonna present yourself on national TV without a bungee?
Well,
For
look,
what purpose?
They got to show her hair going up like that to make you think of the weightlessness and everything. It's all for effects, right? Yeah.
She's upside down. Or this whole thing is upside down. All right, let's look at the landing, dude. This is funny. Okay, so to me, blurry, crystal clear at some points, but watch this. You tell me, is this real?
News alert, Elon just rescued two astronauts that got him left floating around in space for 9 months. The SpaceX Dragon splashed down in the Gulf of America.
Perfect shot.
Bro, this is a total video. Look at
that. Look at that.
Progress of the Dragon spacecraft, and we're going to stand by for splashdown located in the Gulf of America, off the coast of Tallahassee, Florida.
Total video game, bro.
Something, bro.
How do all four?
Oh
of them,
my God. It's emotional. Let's bring in the applause.
look at the difference in this video here
Could
compared
be
to
the
what we just
sun.
saw.
Could be the sun, Carmel.
Man, come on now.
SpaceX. Elon, the savior of the world.
The savior. Look at it. Gotta hold him up.
Oh, my first time I've stretched my legs on real. Oh. Wow, different spacesuits these days.
Yeah, interesting.
Black power, dude.
Hey, all day. Remember, Trump used to hang out with brothers all the time back in the day, bro. People forget that. Trump was a homie.
Trump is a homie.
He was an all kind of rap big.
But I have a feeling he's being a little used for global divisive natures, like bringing about a world order for, what is he doing? He's draining Canada of everything right now. He's bankrupting them. They are going to be the 51st state. And everybody is thinking, oh, this is great. This is great, including every Canadian, because it's freedom. They're out of tyranny now, and they'll still get some recognition as Canada, the 51st state or whatever. And then Greenland's going to be the 52nd. Then what? UK?
Are we taking in Mexico?
Oh, we are, but I don't know if we want to. Do we?
I mean, why wouldn't
they got to be rich in minerals. I mean, that'd be the only reason why we're going.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and just trade routes, not to mention the land is good land, I mean, especially for agriculture. But why not just unite the whole continent here? Like, it's a huge continental landmass. We should just have
we are the world.
We
Prince
called it the Gulf of America in that video.
Prince didn't want to sing in that song. He was standing there, and they handed him the mic, and he just kept sucking his lollipop.
Yeah, Prince was different. Prince knew some stuff.
He knew some stuff. He was awake. He talked about the Illuminati.
Oh yeah.
A lot more, actually.
Prince. I just completely off topic, but I watched this probably once a year. Prince's performance at George Harrison tribute, when he's on there with like four of the greatest guitarists and just blew everybody out of the water. You seen that video?
Never seen that. No. No, I gotta see it.
I'll send it to you after. You watch it after. And there's a famous quote that people aren't sure if Eric Clapton said this or not, but someone asked Eric Clapton what it felt like to be the greatest guitarist ever, and he says, "I don't know. Ask Prince." When you see this video, to me, there's no question. I mean, I know there's a lot of great Eric Clapton.
Do you know the non-conspiracy that's around Eric Clapton when his kid died?
I've heard about it. Remind me on this one.
His kid's 2 years old, falls out of a window in a high window, a hotel, whatever. He goes downstairs. There's a crowd around his kid, and he's walking around the outside of the crowd looking in, being a spectator. Dude, look that one up, bro.
I remember something about him in one of the songs.
Look that one up. I don't know what the truth is on that. Obviously, that's just an internet conspiracy at this point. So please don't flag us for talking negatively about Eric Clapton. What about the oh gosh, what was that guy's name who said made a deal with the devil? Remember who I'm talking about? He's an older musician, made a deal with the devil. The big one.
There's probably a few of them.
There's a lot that have kind of said something or implied something like that. But anyway, so what are you making of an alien coming into? Are they foretelling? Are we this close to?
It has to be. I mean, it's
you think so?
They've got to be setting it up because the way they even say it on the camera. Hey, it's very scripted. Hey, lighthearted thing here. The alien came in with us and brought. Like what? Like why would you even mess around with that? Like these people.
Do you believe in a extraterrestrial, something outside of the world?
My gut feeling says no. And what I mean by that is I don't think there's aliens in the way we've been shown or taught or told. For this reason alone, if there was an extraterrestrial being or race of beings that were that advanced, we're never catching them. We're not housing them down in Area 51 if they're that much more powerful than us. We're not catching them. We're not actually having a fight. It's not War of the Worlds. We're just going to be wiped out. Right? The other thing is what it could be, and this may be more wild to think about, is we've talked about reptilian races, we've talked about Anunnaki, we've talked about other creatures that are bigger, larger, smarter, more advanced than us actually being here. That would make more sense to me than an alien race outside of us that's just waiting to come in and we're staving them off. No, we're not.
So I was a kid, 19, 20, watching KTLA. It was around the time in California where they were a formal news, very straightforward, and they were losing their audience because it was very Walter Cronkite-ish. And it was the first time they were told they were going to get canceled, and then they started cutting up and having fun and communicating like friends and making jokes, and everything was casual. And then that saved them. They actually got to keep the news on the new format because the users responded. Anyway, that's not a part of the story. The story I'm talking about is right at that time, I'm watching the news, and I'm no joke. They come on, they say what looked to be like a UFO in Australia was caught on video going into water, and they showed the video of the UFO going into water, and then the screen went black. And they got back on, dude. When they were done, they were like, and for tonight's news, like completely ignored what just went out live. And so for me, was that a setup? Are they doing that level of setting up? I mean, the answer is yes, but was that one in particular a setup? And back then, because people like Connie Chung went for it and lost her job trying to report what she wanted to report. And then we got the true news. Like, let me just show this real quick on HISAdvocates TV. We have a thing called Mass Media Lies. And we show a few different things about what the media does and truly lying about, predictive programming and different things like that. This particular one, I got to log in. Hold on. This particular one will blow your mind because it is literally and I know everybody's seen this. So I'm not trying to act like we got something new here, but I want people to understand.
Today is a turning point. Today was historically bad for President Trump. Today was a turning point.
We're at a turning point here.
The beginning of the end for the Trump presidency.
We have another bombshell.
Mike Pence might have to assume the office of the presidency.
Rumblings of the word impeachment.
Breaking news.
Another bombshell out of the White House.
I believe this is the beginning of the end.
It's really the beginning of the end.
He may be feeling the walls closing in on him.
All the walls closing in on him. The walls closing in on him.
Breaking news, a new bombshell.
One astrologer says this means the beginning of the end for President Donald Trump.
I mean, it goes on, and they're all saying the same
We
thing.
said it over and over.
You think
The couch.
Enjoy it from a desk or a couch.
Enjoy it from a desk or maybe the couch.
enjoy it from a desk or the couch?
Enjoy it from a desk or the couch. Enjoy it from the desk or even the couch.
Watch
Enjoy it
this.
From a desk or the couch.
From a desk or the couch. From a desk or the couch.
From a desk or a couch.
From a desk. Your couch from the desk or the couch. From the desk or the couch.
From a desk or the couch.
Bottom item 2 of 10 for yourself.
It's okay. You can admit it. If you bought an item or 2 or 10 for yourself,
It's okay. You can admit it. If you bought an item or 2 or maybe 10 for yourself.
It's okay. You can admit it.
News is not the news anymore, Carmel. It's just not trustworthy. And so That's why I speculated on everything. But there was a time in a transition period where actually people were still trying to report the news in the early 70s, mid 70s, late 70s, and early 80s a little bit. But people started getting in trouble for wavering and going off on their own thing. And my daughter is studying journalism. Like, what's the purpose? Why don't you study communications? Because you don't need to know anything about journalism. You're handed everything you need to know. You're handed everything you need to say. And so, where was everything before? I never heard we were stuck up in space. Did you?
No, that's the other thing. Is it's been 9 months, and I guess the whole mission was supposed to be like 9 days, right? So I'm thinking, okay, if they're up there day 12, no big deal. Day 30, we should have heard something. Day 60, 120 days still stuck up there, not a word. But then all of a sudden, 9 months later, and it only took 28 minutes to go get him. Like, what? So wait, hold on.
Help me to understand what Elon launched a rocket, docked it, picked him up, and brought him back.
Yeah. Which is interesting now, right? Now we have a privately funded space corporation working with a government-funded space exploration. So
well, that's been long. He made a deal with NASA a long time ago for some of the technologies, supposed technologies.
for sure. But now this to me was a publicly staged event to show SpaceX's ability to save these people from space. But yeah, why didn't we hear about it long before this? Because what would happen if we know as a public those people are stuck up there, we would have been demanding to go get them, right? Now, whatever it took for them to actually stage.
That's a plausible reason why to keep it from the people.
What's that?
That's a plausible reason to keep it from the people. You got to remember the hostages in Iran. You know, nobody went after them for however long it was.
Yeah. But when it comes to the news and any of this, it just, even the way this guy said it, and you showing this video just proves what I'm saying. The way this guy said, hey, a lighthearted blankety blank. Like what? Like nothing about this is lighthearted. Those people were stuck for almost a year in space.
I know. Not able to walk. Not able to run. Gray hair coming back with brown hair. Now look. I'm sure they have some mirrors, but if y'all know, you're not showering up in space. You're toweling off. So she's using, and not that I have any gray in my beard whatsoever, but if I did, there would be maybe a tool that you can use to touch up some stuff and get rid of those grays. So that's plausible, but her whole head?
Yeah.
Her whole head? Like
show that picture. Because to me, it's why even do it? Like, why even if they literally did this before she came?
The question is, why have her hair up like that? A frightful image with an alien coming across her front.
Yeah.
Like
this is freaky.
This is it's true. And what do they got? Parachutes right there? I mean, I don't understand the imagery here, but it's all technological. You'd figure if you're going to be in space, you're going to bump around and you're going to hit some switches, right?
For sure.
You'd have some panel covers, but that's not real enough. The
radiation outside of our atmosphere is supposed to be ridiculous. The Van Allen belts, which are these two large circular belts of radiation. Look at this, dude. That's freaking ridiculous.
Well, look, hold on a sec. His hair is up too, which means they're actually upside down. Okay. And they're filming upside down, and the wires are all below here. So his wires are here hooking him to the roof, which is the floor.
Mm. Lighthearted alien encounter. Look. Yeah.
Let's get some after pictures of her so we can show everybody.
I sent you one from Twitter. If you look in the chat.
The Fox Business? No, there's nothing there.
No, let me see. Here.
And break it up. Did you put it in the comment? Oh, the private chat. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong chat, brother.
It's all good. Yeah, look at this here. Come on now.
Is that? Oh, hold on a sec. Is that the same lady?
Yeah.
Hold on. That's the same lady?
Yeah.
That the ISS with a lighthearted.
Even the video of them coming out of the thing in their white suits on their freaking wheelchairs. Like,
that's the same lady.
Yeah.
Chin. Look at the chin. I suppose it could be.
It's pretty pronounced. It's pretty big there, bro. And I will say it is.
But look at here.
Look, I wouldn't put it past any of these people having masks on.
That's fine.
Sure.
Calm down, everyone. They have a beauty salon, which is on the ISS. That's how she returned with dark roots. I love a good smart aleck in the morning.
No, for sure. So, like, in terms of like every movie, piece of content, everything we should keep showing. What are they trying to show us? NASA, yeah. And people can look this up. If you even go into the Bible, I think there's several verses. If you look up the Jewish translation, now it's pronounced differently. That's what some people say. Well, it's pronounced Nashah. It's spelled exactly the same. There's like accents over the NASA, but it's spelled exactly the same. From the beginning of NASA, the person who changed NASA from what it was to what it is now was a Nazi. Like, how people forget that or don't know it, didn't study it, but Warner von Braun was from Nazi Germany and literally changed everything, the names of it, and then on his tombstone puts Psalm 19:1. Like, none of this stuff is not.
No way.
Up.
Hey,
why is Psalm 19:1 on his headstone?
This stopped in 1917, but this is chronological order 111 as of 1917 alien invasion movies.
Oh, wow.
111. Wow. Now that could be predictive programming, and for the record, a lot of people don't know, but there's an element of what is allowed, what is lawful, and they for sure under Operation Mockingbird are allowed to program us, and the Supreme Court has affirmed this, propagandize us, which means lie to us about anything they wish. So what do you believe and what do you not believe? News is not the news. News is the story that the people in the power that are behind the news stations want to tell you. And that's just a reality, and just like the JFK release of the JFK files, they just found out they got 2 audio recordings of conversations with Johnson ordering the hit. Okay. And we were all conspiracy theorists for thinking Lee Harvey Oswald had no way that he could have pulled it off as a lone shooter with the bullet going through 15 different places and holes and bodies and out the wrist and through the forehead. Not possible with a bolt action rifle. And so we're the conspiracy theorists, and that's where it started. And but here's the interesting thing, Carmel, they're starting to admit it, that conspiracy theorists are right.
Oh yeah, a lot more now, right?
And it's making you feel like, oh, we're and then all the libtards, pardon my French, are starting to move over to the conservative side. And then you got the Democrats way back in the day, NAFTA, National
The
North American Free Trade Agreement,
Mm-hmm.
In 1990 was voted against by every Democrat, voted for by every Republican. Huh. And now today, what is Trump saying? Canada, we're going to save you. It's no longer a takeover through a North America Free Trade Agreement, some external law structure. It's freeing the Canadian people, our friends, our neighbors. And let's go get Greenland, because it's a strategic point for us as the United States of America. The question is why is the United States so special that we get to do all these things?
That's the question I'd be at. When I asked it a couple episodes ago about why do we have like army camps and bases on other people's soil, like why can we just go into Iran and Iraq? We have bases there. They don't have bases here.
It's called enforcement, my brother. It's called enforcement. And bro, people don't want to hear about the biblical portion of that dialogue, but we literally fit the modern day Babylonian structure, meaning the corp United States, as the whore, not the, you know, the one who sits on the throne, I'm blaming the beast, but the whore. And it's amazing that, you know, and then you fall into line with every country, which is really a corporation, is registered at the Securities and Exchange Commission in Washington, D.C. with an address there. And then that corresponds with the Bible, how they made deals with the prostitute. And what are the deals? And how do they do them? It's always loaning them a ton of money in exchange for their minerals and the rights to help them control their country for the next 50, 100 years. It's without a doubt matching up to everything that, you know, we've long talked about biblically, but it's irony, you know, and when it starts to pop up and it starts to become real, like XRP, dude. XRP, been saying it for 6 or 7 years. This is the white paper that came out on the SEC website today, saying XRP is taking over the entire United States of America, every payment system, every bank, every way to move money, all of the Nostra accounts worldwide. At a minimum, $5 trillion is going to be purchased immediately from the United States, which is going to drive XRP through the roof. We've been saying it, but what did we have to do to get this? And by the way, Carmel, just freaking random chance now, the only institution to get financial clearance and clarity by the SEC was Ripple, XRP. The only one that it's a currency. What is the definition of currency? Holy crap. It's a country's money. So the only crypto that has legal clarity on that it's a currency and not a security, and this document says that dropped the lawsuit with them, dropped yesterday. The point I'm trying to, we had to analyze Ripple 7 years ago, 6 years ago, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years. They got sued. It looked like to me, it looked like a party to everything that needed to play out. Now we understand why the SEC had to play it out, because now they're dropping all the cases against every other crypto company, and everybody's going, "Whoo, I got the cases dropped." No, it's not cool, because you're not with legal clarity as a true cash or true currency for a country. Ripple is, and Ripple now is being told they're it, which means you could see a $100,000-$200,000 coin, but it took minds that think outside the box. It took minds that, you know, what these guys have done is 30 years of planning. What these guys have done, and they knew they had to present a beautiful play that it would make everybody angry, make everybody whatever, and all the while that this whole deal was done, and they knew what was going to happen, and everything Brad Garlinghouse says is probably somewhat truthful, but with a full knowledge of the true deal that's been done behind the scenes. And that blows my mind, because here we're talking about the currency of the world.
So then that begs to ask the question, is a lot of this stuff distractions?
Of course.
Files, come on. Space Rescue. Because if people understood what that meant financially, you know, was aware of this, that what is going on is happening right now with XRP, how many people would be jumping on and probably messing up some of the plans these people have because they'd rather you not know and then flip the switch and then you're locked out.
Bro, I created a TikTok video, and TikTok truly is the one that is the algorithm that makes good videos go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And all I did was point out that XRP has legal clarity, and that XRP just came out, and I showed it. And all I did was show what was on the SEC's website, and I got clipped. It will never get out to see the masses. It's never going to get out and be something people are going to be able to watch, except on YouTube, where they're controlling all my algorithms like crazy. On YouTube,
it got clipped on TikTok?
Clipped on TikTok, an 8-minute video, and I did no speculations. I talked a little math, but that's it. But they took it off of TikTok. Crazy, huh?
Interesting. I think you got to give that disclaimer at the beginning of your stuff now. This is for entertainment purposes only. Because I've seen stuff talking about this, and it doesn't get clipped. They throw that out there. I think that disclaimer protects you, because that doesn't make sense why they would do that.
You think if I say for entertainment purposes only, that's going to be stuck? It'll stick out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, check this out. I'm going to add it to the stage. Hold on. So you go. Hold on. Look, they removed one on Albertson's. Anyway. TikTok is constantly removing my stuff, and I've only got 5 or 6 videos over there. I'm trying to find the actual. Anyway, I can only find it on my phone. Bottom line is that video has 0 views, and it's been up there for 4 hours. And you go up to YouTube on my channel, which would go viral normally, and 127 views. That's it. Anyway, I'm holding on to 1,000 shares. It's hilarious. So the point I'm trying to make is, we have the legal clarity, the legal framework. The world order is now presenting itself. Donald Trump is parlaying through a pissed off conservative majority with their full backing. Go get him, Doge. Go get him. Not realizing the power that Doge has and the power that Doge wields. And it just seems like that Democratic Party in 1990 has come over to this side, and the Republican Party, today is completely different than what it was way back in the day, because the decisions that we're making, and if people actually understood why we're making the decisions we are with China, with the Middle East and the like, it's like, I think we would rethink. I think we would bring everything in internally, and I don't necessarily mind a 51st state like Canada. Helps me to travel through it and understand the beauty of the kingdom, and I can get all the way up to Alaska without crossing any major borders. Getting frisked and checked. Now Mexico, I don't know. Mexico.
What part of Mexico you're talking about? Because I think people think Mexico, Guadalajara, Tijuana, and those areas, but like Mexico City, I've heard a lot of people say Mexico City is amazing. Tulum, down in the southern part of Mexico, is supposed to be amazing.
Well, Cabo, Mexico City, all beautiful. Don't get me wrong. I'm not poo-pooing Mexico in general. I love the people. For the most part, I don't like the drug cartels, but they don't have a lot of opportunity, and I think a lot of that is their own corruption. But there's nobody more corrupt than the United States of America at this point. Doge explaining that very clearly. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Plus, I'd like to be able to get down to Belize easier too.
Yeah. Belize. I don't know them directly, but I know the guys that train the military there, and ex-special forces soldiers out here, and they go down and they train them up in Belize, and then they bring a bunch of boys down to. That sounds weird by just saying it that way, but to raise them up to be men. And it's a Christian organization. to raise them up to be good men, and they walk them through a lot of the different army stuff and kind of harden them up a little bit. But these are troubled youth kind of a thing. People that if they didn't have this opportunity may fade into the distance. But the point is Belize is a beautiful country, and if you can grab yourself some good land there, I would do it in a heartbeat. And I think after this revaluation happens, I'm down. I am definitely down.
Yeah, I had someone years ago. I'm gonna say almost like 15 years ago, maybe longer than that, because I don't think my youngest daughter was even born. Told me to buy property in Belize long time ago. And
Really?
okay, and it was I think I had barely heard about Belize at this time. You know, it was my early 20s.
What was the reason?
It was very inexpensive, and it's basically a better Jamaica. Like it was just gorgeous, not overly populated, easy to get in out of, and the price is going to go through the roof eventually.
And they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. Especially the oceanfront stuff.
Yeah.
Well, Carmel, what are we going to do here? I think when you take a look at the reality of what's being introduced, what's going to happen when they start displaying, and how do you think that's going to play out? You know, when they start displaying a different breed of people coming to visit.
It's going to be holographic. It's going to be AI generated. It's gonna cause, even if nothing is really happening, it's gonna cause mass hysteria. You're gonna see huge stock market issues, supply chain issues, logistics, travel. All this is going to be affected, and it might be the way they enter into new policy, right? Because that's how everything happens. There's a national emergency. Oh, the way to fix this, if we vote this thing into da 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 da, we all can consent, and now another one of your rights is taken away. That's the thing people need to watch out for. Us really being attacked. World of Worlds is one of my favorite movies ever. It's visually stunning. Love watching
Tom Cruise, War of the Worlds.
Yeah. Is that really going to happen? No. Hey, that movie killed me. When I first saw that movie, I was like, what the heck?
Dude, I got EMP protectors for my car because of that movie.
Okay. Hey, there's nothing wrong with being
I just might be that only guy driving something, you know, running some bad guys over, you know. I just might be. Who knows? You know, the big truck, I got it on the big truck. So
okay. Oh yeah, you'll be that dude. You'll be that guy. I can see it. I can see it. No, I just think what's going to happen is, again, that alien coming through that hatch was very telling.
Right.
And I really feel like they're just, again, planting seed to predictive programming. And people aren't aware. That's the thing, is that people watch this stuff and they just get really wrapped up in the whole presentation of it all. Oh yeah, we got them, but why are we getting them? And here's another thing. I think it was Trump or someone said that Biden, because these people went up when Biden was in office. The term they said, well, Biden virtually abandoned them in space. Why'd you say virtually?
Because it's truthful.
It's virtual. But people hear that and they think, well, he means he basically, no, he said virtually. All this stuff they say is with purpose, intentional. They say certain words with intent. They were virtually.
You think they're that methodical?
What's that?
They're that methodical in their speeches, that methodical like Trump?
Yeah. I mean, I do think Trump is probably sometimes just going off kilter, but I think he's definitely has a team around him, gives him things to say. He's a very smart dude. I know he can go off the Hilton and just say some crazy stuff, but he's got smart people around him. He's definitely saying things with intent. And I think they probably, just like we saw this newscasting.
Did you see? I'm sorry. Yeah. Did you see the lady, Letitia, whatever her name is, in New York, who went after Trump, the DA?
Mm-mm.
Did you see what they dug up on her and the judge? Haven't checked into it. Haven't validated or verified it, but $15 million in payments. Which means Home Squeeze is going to get locked up. And obviously the judge. They said that judge should never had that case.
Wow.
So it's going to be interesting to see how this thing plays out, because here's a guy who can pardon himself now legally, and because he's a felon.
That's crazy. He can pardon himself.
Oh yeah, dude. He can pardon anybody he wants. I don't think there's a clause about who you can or cannot pardon. Especially, he's going to want to see this thing play out. He's going to want it to go to court. He's going to want to show the fraud. He's going to want people to go to prison. So if it were me, being the president with all the power, knowing they can't put him in jail,
Are you talking about Trump pardoning himself? I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah. What were you thinking?
The judge.
Oh, the judge? No, Trump. Yeah. But the bottom line is JFK files are coming out. UFOs are coming out. We had all those pictures of traveling drones, but they weren't drones. Some of them weren't. What looked like to me in the sky, which was flying objects of unknown origin, like we couldn't possibly have predicted what they were. And all over the media, all over why was that in play in New Jersey exclusively? And then we got the article handed down to us why, and I didn't believe the narrative. I don't believe any of the narratives anymore. So, Carmel, I'm gonna go get my infrared night goggles, my bulletproof vest, my ARs, and I'm just gonna sit back on the hilltop. And we're now getting videos from all the prophets, out there, that we're gonna have a darkness. All the prophets are saying the same thing. We're gonna have a darkness period of 3 days, period of 7, period of 10, for some different ones. And then you're supposed to put black sheets over your windows so you can't see out, and don't remove them at all, and don't open up the doors, even if you hear familiar voices. This is what they're telling us.
Nah.
What the heck?
Nah.
Yeah, dude.
Nah, I'm going right outside.
So that means don't knock on my door and say, "Hey, it's Carmel." I'm like, "You mother!" Stop lying. Boom, boom, boom.
We need to have some code words. We need some code words.
Oh yeah, pineapple.
Why is that always the first one? I literally was thinking
because pineapple. It was the mime of the guy that got his butt beat by it wasn't even a cop. It was somebody trying to put cuffs on this guy. He was running from bail. And as he was on the ground, he started yelling, "Pineapple, pineapple, pineapple," because that was his safe word.
Safe word is pineapple. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's supposed to be something polysyllabic and kind of different. I guess pineapple is the most polysyllabic fruit. Next one maybe watermelon.
So, what are we talking about next, Carmel? Let's get people excited.
Whew. Well, we're gonna have a lot to talk about in the next week or so. Whether it's more with Ripple and XRP and just crypto, JFK files. I'm pretty sure this whole NASA SpaceX thing is not going to go away. That and yeah, and then what happens with our borders, right? I don't think I'm pretty sure all this is connected, right?
Well, the borders are shut down. The question is it to keep us in and to keep them out?
Yeah, if it's to keep, it's usually the opposite. But they tell you one thing. They tell you to keep people out, but it's really keep you in. And that's what I tell people. If you can't move freely, you're not free. I can't just get up and go somewhere to another country or leave my country, and I have to go through all these protocols, and like someone has to approve me leaving. Something's wrong.
I mean, I can understand that being a country. I can't understand that necessarily being within our borders, like traveling border to border within the states. But who knows? I think XRP are helping people to understand that this is probably one of their last shots to buy super low and come into the game. I think we need to review this document more in depth each other this week and just see what else drops and how quickly this stuff starts dropping, because it's going to be the game changer, I think, for all of us.
And next week might be a good week to have my buddy Reginald on, the guy who teaches crypto and has a whole academy.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do it. And the week after, Carmel, I've got to do another recording with you for the week after, as I'm getting married.
Ooh. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
I'm
Now, when you
getting
say
it
get it
done.
married,
Oh, okay. It's we're performing holy matrimony. How's that?
that should be our episode before you get married. We should talk about marriage,
Okay.
marriage certificates, and all that stuff.
And you know what? I'll bring up and show the proof in the Supreme Court where the product of the union belongs to the state.
That's true. So the next episode after our next one has got to be that.
Sounds good, my brother. You enjoy. I appreciate you always. And I'll see you next Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific. God bless. Good night. And Mancave 28 next week.
See you guys.
Late.